Hello everyone, how you doing? It's me, Heidi, and welcome to my channel, Heidi's Corner. Now in the studio with me are, of course, Stefan here, hello, and Bertil, our resident Moomin forefather. Now, I had something prepared. I'm sorry, I do. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we had a wonderful family outing. We went to the beach, and I have some pictures for you. There you go. Bertil has his own chair. There. He has his own beach towel. There you go. There you go. Little Moomin beach towel there. So, of course, he had to sit in the shade. He's a baby. There. Like so. Yes, he's a wonderful little boy. Isn't he a darling? Yes. Anyway, today is Friday Facts. Is there? Oh, exactly so. Bertil is a wonderful little baby. So, LGBT History Month. What the hell is going on? What do we have? So, as it so happens, LGBT History Month is it's old, but it's not old. It was founded by a high school teacher from native to Missouri, United States, teacher named Rodney Wilson in 1994. As of right now, the LGBT History Month, from what I could find, is now observed by Australia, Canada, Hungary, United Kingdom, United States, Ireland, Greenland, Brazil, and the city of Berlin. So it's international, but not as far and wide. Of course, there are some smaller events, but this is just a brief listing of what I decided to fit in this live stream. So it's in the UK. It's a gigantic thing. It's a national in Wales, Scotland, England. So there in the UK, it begins in February. Why, you may ask, is February so important to in the UK for this event? The reason is that in 2003, it came about in the UK in the wake of the Section 28, which was a policy that made it illegal to basically criminalizing promoting homosexuality, and that would have been abolished in 2003, and it was introduced by the Margaret Thatcher's conservative government. Came into effect from 88 to 2000, and then abolished. They made the decision to abolish the piece of legislation in 2003, as well as the fixing the employment equality sexual orientation regulations of '03, as well as the other proposals by the British government at the time to further the equality or modernize the British legislation in this regard. Okay, excuse me. Move these a bit. Okay, there we are. So basically, the first, however, even though it came around, or the idea they started working on it in '03, the first event came about in February of 2015, and this has since been an annual event. They have these launch events some months prior to the actual event, and there have been different, national curriculum themes in the UK, and these different sponsors and promotional faces like Sir Ian McKellen has been a big face there. And in Scotland, it was also started in '06, and in the US, it originated as Lesbian and Gay Month, first celebrated in October of 1994, and this annual LGBT History Month is celebrated in a bit different months. In the UK, as I said, it's starts in February, then our Republic of Ireland, May, and then in October they celebrate it in the United States of America, Canada, and Australia. For the love of me, I couldn't find exact information regarding Greenland, anything reliable, but you will probably butcher me in the chat or the comments below if I get anything horribly wrong. Now, who is Rodney Wilson? He was a first openly gay teacher, public school teacher in Missouri. Had the idea when there were certain issues back in the day in schools. October was chosen by Wilson as the month of celebration because it's the month they had the first LGBT marches in Washington in 1979 and 1987, and the national coming out day in the US is October 11th, and which is then chosen to mark the date of the second March of Washington, lesbian gay rights in '87, which is, by the way, these marches, by the way, came to be in the wake of events at Stonewall in New York City in '69. Go and check my I have two live streams, I think, of the Stonewall events. And in Berlin, the city of Berlin, is known as Queer History Month instead of what is its original name, LGBT History Month, as it's known elsewhere in the English-speaking countries, include as well as then in, of course, Brazil being a Portuguese-speaking country, or at least officially, and it takes place in June. And its purpose, as their functioning idea, also is to educate and help people to deal with sexual diversity and and discrimination, to deal with it and how to help others, really. And during this month, there are lectures and lessons available on queer history, both school and non-school education. Also, institutions provide education directly to schools and youth directly and indirectly. Now, why does it happen? There must be some history to celebrate or to remember. There has been, of course, LGBT plus people as long as there has been people, and other primates before us. And there has been recorded. There's been a recorded history of same-sex love since at least the ancient Greeks, as I understand it, also in the writings from ancient Egypt, as far as those records are as old as writing systems are, really. And it involves people. It's not just books, it's people of whom these stories and recorded instances are of. It's not just some fabulous tales. And there is what the records of same-sex love and relations and the gender diversity has been scarce, because, or it hasn't been scarce, but there has been because there has been so many centuries and millennia of persecution, which has resulted in secrecy and suppression. Why? And shaming LGBT plus people for who they are, in the name of religion and personal incredulity. But now, in recent decades, since pretty much since Stonewall and late 1800s, there has been more of a public interest to learn from history, really. And so, why has it come about? Why is it so important that we have this LGBT History Month? Because we need to learn from history. We need to make people aware of who we are, that there have always been queer people, and we aren't that much different from cis and straight people, and we must learn from history. Otherwise, we will never learn if we don't look back. That's why we need history, in my opinion, this History Month, so that we can learn, we can teach. So there has been, as I said, there has been plenty, even though they're scarce, but there has been records of these LGBT plus people in history. For example, during the fifth dynasty of Egypt, around 2400 BC, that would be 4,500 years ago. There has been, among the pharaohs, there have been suspicions that some of them were gay in ancient Egypt. For example, Pharaoh Pepi II, who has been who was also speculated to be gay. So history goes this far, at least this far as Pharaoh Pepi II, who ruled, who started their reign in, 2278 BC, roughly. So that's even long. That's quite a few years ago, because there's so much history when it comes to LGBT plus people. That's why I think it's crucially important that we remember and learn from this history. There have been and then the Americas. There's history of the two spirits, for example. I've talked several times about the gender diversity of the Native Americans, as well as other nations. For example, the two spirits, the indigenous people of North America speak of. There are a number of nations that prior to European colonization, a number of these Native Americans nations did respect the roles of gay, homosexual, bisexual, and gender non-conforming individuals. And then came the Europeans, and we know what that happens. What then happens? There is a what's called as I mentioned, two spirit who encompass the two opposite genders. Is a third gender amongst Native Americans, and they would reject the quote-unquote Western binary. Of course, also in the Middle East and China, there have been records as far as the Qing dynasty, at least. This is curious. Well, all of this is curious, but why is this so important? Because we need to learn we need to learn the past in order to understand what the need for LGBT History Month. But I will be right back. Yes, hello. Sorry. So there has all. This is really really curious. This whole concept. There's a website, LGBT plus history month.co.uk, which is a wonderful website. With they have all kinds of and they have all kinds of different materials where which you can then go on to read. And I highly recommend you go and check this out. Okay, let me get this for you. Okay, there we go. This is an excellent website, in my opinion. As you can see, there are LGBT plus History Month resources. So there, where you can get there are all kinds of posters and stuff, and then all these which have then these about Mark Ashton, for example. Interesting one. So, and why did I want to talk to you about this history? Because it's important. We must first grasp the necessity before we can understand we must understand the history before we can understand the necessity for events like the LGBT History Month, because there has been, as I said, throughout the centuries, oppression and wrongdoings against LGBT plus people, and these pieces of history have then been building up the necessity to remember so that we can learn, and those who are in the position to decide about these things can then prevent such things, atrocities, from happening. But anyway, I will be keeping this stream rather short because I'm, without going into further detail, as you remember, last week I cancelled the Friday Facts due to certain personal issues, or rather difficulties I'm facing in personal life. So I am trying to keep these a bit lighter, these live streams. But I will, however, deliver you shorter, perhaps slightly shorter live streams, but I hope to keep the quality as has been previously, as you would expect me from based on my previous streams. So I won't go too much into the millennia past. I will go rather, because the 1918 and 1900s were kind of the pinnacle in the Western world when it comes to homophobia or LGBT plus phobia, and therefore it's practical for me in these streams, so that even in the best of days, things wouldn't go. I wouldn't spend 5 hours here talking about babbling on about what happened 5,000 years ago. But in the Stonewall riots, it was a pivotal moment in the LGBT history, because to Stonewall riots, we kind of saw, or they saw back then, it was the culmination of these anti-LGBT plus tactics before the community exploded, and things maybe too much was done from both sides. I don't know, but it led to this for us not forgetting these the reasons behind it, the horrible oppression over hundreds of years, then culminated in the Stonewall Inn and turned into the riots. Now, why? It's because kids these days also need to see or hear, read, become aware that especially the LGBT plus, but also the cis and straight kids need to see where how barbaric our society once was, and why we need to learn not to do or not to repeat the mistakes of the past. Homosexuality has been a crime. You could go to prison for it, murdered, mental institutions. So that's why, because we are humans, that's why we need to learn. So that's why we cannot stop. We need to have these history months to bring forward this knowledge of who we are, who we were, and why we cannot stop. And this is the basics of LGBT History Month. So those of you in the chats, I'm not sure how many of you are in the chats, but anyway, if you have any commentary as of right now, please ask your questions. And once again, at this point, I wish to remind you that there is a link in the description box down below in YouTube. That in the YouTube description box down below, there will be or is already a link to a live stream where I'll be this weekend. It'll be on very early hours of the morning on Sunday European time. That would be 2:30 a.m. UK time. It's a channel called NASA Bunker 33. It's a wonderful small channel. Oh well, small and small. That is bigger than mine. It's the trans awareness stream, bunker bitchin'. I will be there, and as I understand it, also my wonderful guest I had, Vishanti, will also be there. My wonderful former guest Vishanti. I hope you get to watch this before we have the stream. I'll be on your stream, but it will be there. The link is in the description box. This, as I said, will be Sunday early out of the morning, 2:30 a.m. UK time, 4:30 my time, Finnish time. So please click the link down in the comments and come and check it out. It'll be fun. It'll be fun, they said. Who knows? But hey, this, as I said, will be a short one. This, I think I'll be going in a few minutes, unless I get questions from the few who are watching there. If not, I will be going in just a moment, and I'll please ask me questions, comments in the chat. I will be right back. And meanwhile, I'll be live and the chat is open. Oh, there we go. Anyway, as I said, this will be a short one. Due to reasons I won't go into too much further, but I am glad that there were actually people watching tonight, and I hope this shorter and shittier stream won't scare my viewers away. At least I hope so. But hey, please check the description box down below, and please, people, those who are watching, like and subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I really don't care. Couldn't care less. But just up or down, I don't care. And subscribe, because about only roughly 30% of my viewers are subscribed. So I truly hope that those viewers who are not subscribed, subscribe please now, because that will help my channel immensely. Every subscription is worth a lot, trust me. There will be links in the description box, including the link to the NASA Bunker 33 live stream. Then there will be the links to my playlists: season 1, season 2, Monday news, Friday facts, a special episode with my partner. Well, where a link to this special Sunday special episode where my partner and I tried Japanese snacks I have, and I also have special files where the latest episode of special files was with Borg Skeptic, previously known as Trans Atheist. We had jolly good fun the other day, last week, when we talked about the life as an asexual. That was fun. Please, and there's the links to my 2 Discord servers. There's LGBT plus safe space server, which is, as the name suggests, meant to be a safe space for all LGBT plus people. My lovely admins and moderators will keep, in cooperation with myself, will keep the place tidy. And there is also the my channel server, Hades Corner, or some pronounce it Hades Corner. The link is there. I have many some of my mods and admins are the same there as well. So I have a very good cooperation with my moderators and admins. Now, as I said, it's going to be a short one, and I will be going. It's getting late, and myself and Bertil and Stefan need some sleep. So, without further ado, say goodbye, Stefan and Bertil. Have a good night, a good weekend. Bye.